All right. All right. We are live right now with my main man, Bootsy Vegas. So we're doing a quick pop-up go-go talks here because we're switching to YouTube Live tomorrow. Thank you to everybody that has already subscribed.
About
Uh,
time you upgraded your stuff over there, bro. I was worried about you.
yeah, man. So that experience with Donnell the other day, that made me, yeah. I was like, okay, we gotta step this party
Amazing,
up a little bit.
amazing interview. Let me tell you this. It was an amazing interview. It was the best insight by far. And taking myself out of it, you might want to do another one with Cato, and you
Yep.
might do another one with Donnell because they were giving some tools and strategy that I'd never heard before.
Like
Cato,
what?
they were giving you stuff I'd never heard before. So I think you might want to do that one again.
I will. I will. But do you remember off the top of your head what some of those strategies were?
Yeah. Okay. So the one that Cato said, and man, it struck me, was when he explained about the movie when they would go to the town and do the church revivals. I forgot what the name of the movie was.
Yeah.
Uh,
The Steve Martin movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and he basically was like, you know, I've actually I've actually heard that premise before of
Mm-hmm.
doing a 2-3 day thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life was I went with Black Alley to Boston. They
Yep.
played at a festival. So the first thing that I noticed when I got to there was Soldier was really big, and I saw people with with Soldier with the DC flag, and I'm like,
Flag. Yep. Mm-hmm.
and I'm piecing everything together. So I'm like, hold on, how are they so big here? That's the first thing. They played in Providence, Rhode Island first. Then they went to Boston and played at the outside thing. And then the people came in and was like, man, this is amazing. Can y'all play a little bit later on? So what happened was Black Alley played like maybe at 2, and they came back on at 8. And the whole street was filled. And it showed me the more that people got the interaction going or really understood it, the more they was gravitating for it, the more they were connecting with it. And when Cato said that, he was right on that. That
Mm-hmm.
was you know what I mean. But Donnell made a great point when he was like, it's hard for a 30-year-old person who got kids to get 10 people. You know what I mean? So it's all great. It's all great insight, but it gives you a perspective of what you got to do because and let me say this is not an indictment on you. This is not. Unfortunately, you're real. You just say it. You know what I mean? You don't finesse it. You don't hug her. You're not a hugger.
Finesse is not my strong
Yeah.
point.
And you are a direct reflection of what the record business is.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I would say 95% of the go-go people have never dealt with no real music business or real record company type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because how you speak is what it is. It's bottom line. It ain't a whole bunch of shenanigans. This is what it is. This is where we're gonna go. You know what I mean? And that's it. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, like, that was some the way you say it is great, but with the way they were really explaining it, they really put it in simple terms. I know it's hard for you to even talk in layman terms like that. You like, hey, because I'm already on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that you were engaging with them, it was some amazing insight and it was some amazing strategy. And what go-go people lack the most is strategy, planning, steps. You know what I mean? Because you are. I know you, bro, and I know you passionate. And I think the other thing is about this is the fact that some people do go-go as a hobby. It's something that they doing. And then people like me and you, it's a passion. It's a way of this is it. You know what I mean? And those are two different types of philosophy too. So those are the two things that I've gotten from watching what you have been doing lately. And let me say this: I didn't know what to expect. I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea. I was thoroughly impressed to where it was almost like, damn, it's 6 o'clock. Let me see what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So that's when I know you wanted something.
Well, that's what's up, man. I appreciate it. I mean, the idea is to, continue to grow it from here. This week is going to be this week is going to be, this is more like industry people. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? More so than go-go people. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason for that. I mean, I want to bridge that gap. And I
Right.
want to be, and the other thing is that I want to for me, the biggest thing that I got out of the Donnell Floyd interview was that he said to me, or I asked him the same thing I think I asked you, and that I asked Cal, in order to be go-go, to be a go-go artist,
Mhm.
need a band. And Donnell Floyd said no.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is, Wale has already proven that.
Yep.
He basically proved you don't need a band.
Yep. Well, even if you take it back to what Donnell was talking about, which I didn't even realize it was his label that was putting out Benny D and
Fat Rodney.
Scorpio and and those guys. I didn't even realize that was his label. But that's what also made me ask him the question. I asked him to most people, but I definitely wanted to ask him to him because obviously he must not believe that you need a band, or else he wouldn't have had rappers rapping over a go-go track.
Right.
You know what I mean? Solo artists.
Right.
So back to the point that you were making earlier about about, say, for example, Black Alley. So Black Alley was able to go and do those shows with Soulja in the same way that Mambo Sauce did before them, because it's much more affordable to take a 7-person band on the road than it is to take a 14-person band on the road.
And also, it's easy to talk and convince 7 versus 14.
Exactly, 100%.
The whole thing as well. But go ahead.
Well, and then I mean, if you take that one step further, it's easier to do it with 2 people or 1 person than it is with 7. You know what I mean? Now, granted, none of it is easy, but when you have a 7-person band, you multiply the difficulty by 7. Maybe not by 7, because some things are made easier by having more people, assuming those people take on responsibilities. Generally speaking, in my experience in go-go, in every single band I've ever been in, you could have 15 people, you could have 7 people, and generally speaking, only 2 people are really doing anything other than maybe showing up to rehearsal and playing their instrument. You know what I'm saying? So, fake math, it's 5 times more difficult to do it when you have 7 people.
But I think another great point you just made was when you was talking about what's going to happen this week is the fact that the insight they're going to get is a bridge. But to add on to that, I think it's good that people will know there is a bridge. I think a lot of the issue is we don't know there's a bridge that you can get over. A lot of us have never, and I can remember as a kid, we don't venture outside of our neighborhood. We don't venture outside of the DMV. We don't know if it's potentially a market. So I think with the insight you're giving is the fact that there is a bridge and there is a blueprint and there is a step. So that's another reason why this is going to be great this week with the industry people. And I think it's going to hit maybe a little bit better than what you think.
Yeah, no, I hope so. I mean, I certainly know that, the target or the people that are my friends on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or on GOGOTIX are, people that are going to be excited about listening to Donnell Floyd. I'm fully cognizant of the fact that they may not, because a lot of them are fans. They're not really even band members they just want to hear a story. You know what I mean? But this week I think is really going to be for the artists and the band members and the managers and the people that are involved in the industry, because the general fan doesn't really care what the talent buyer from, the director of programming from City Winery has to say. I mean, maybe they do. I hope they do. Yeah. It should. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting, but I'm fully cognizant of the fact that, the numbers will probably not be as high for Donnell Floyd, but I feel like the information is going to be even better. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to talk to tomorrow is John O'Neill from City Winery, director of programming. And there's a very, I've heard people talk shit about them, and it really irritates me because City Winery made a very conscious decision to do something that very few other legit venues in DC have done, which is they embraced go-go from day one. Right. Not when they were about to lose their liquor license and nobody was paying. Nobody was coming in anymore. And they, to me, hey, can we bring this band in? Can we do this band? Hey, John said to me one time, hey, why haven't you talked to me about the Mambo Sauce reunion yet? I never told him I was in Mambo Sauce that had anything to do with Mambo Sauce. He just heard it from somebody else. And, so they want it, you know what I mean? Which is a different story than we're used to hearing from legit.
Right.
And City Winery is a chain. They're not just like some local venue.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
are there in almost every major market on the East Coast and
Because
Midwest.
Philip Bailey and Raheem Devon has done City Winery tours.
Tours, yep, yep,
But,
absolutely.
but
And
once again, what is also going to be great for coming from that is the fact that we'll get to know how much people really appreciate the music and the culture and what's been done here, which is not normally talked about, stated, emphasized.
yep,
So this is another reason why I think it's going to be more effective than what you think. Because sometimes,
I hope so.
even because I think the great thing about GoGo is it's still a great interaction exchange between fans and bands. Like it's almost like we're going on it together. So
Yep.
whether you know it or not, it's probably going to feel good for the consumer to know that they're appreciated and that what they like is appreciated, which would be great because it maybe want to make people frequent that place even more. So
Yep.
there are so many pluses that is going to come from here. But all that information you're sharing about John and other people, most people, I would say 90% of people in GoGo have no idea, bro. So that's
Oh,
why
yeah, I'm aware.
I don't even know. I don't
Yep.
even know. So that's
Yeah,
the
no, I
reason
mean they really have embraced it. I mean they're like, yeah, when can we bring Backyard back? Like that, when do you hear a venue like that wanting to book Backyard, wanting to book the What Band, wanting to book Junkyard? You know what I mean? I mean, granted, I'm the one telling them about these bands. It's not like they're super plugged into the culture and they already know all the bands,
but
but
they know but they reaching out, and that's all that matters.
right.
Because they've been open with the Crank Crusaders. They have really been open with
Yeah.
the Crank Crusaders as well. So
Yeah.
I'm already familiar with them. And what I appreciated about the City Winery was the level of professionalism and how they treated us. Because I didn't know what to expect when I played there with Raheem, and I was really pleasantly surprised about just how they were. How
What was
almost
the
like
first show y'all played there? Was it the Halloween one?
Halloween.
Yeah, okay. So I booked that one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Like packed, man, just really professional, really cool. You know what I mean? It wasn't that okay, we could treat them differently because this is a go-go band. I mean, they came back with menus, order whatever you want.
Yep.
Of course, I overdid it because I'm vegan now, so
Right.
I did, and they didn't even mind. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
ran.
Now they're really, yeah. I mean, I hope that they can come back because it's going to be tough for venues now. They had to lay off a whole bunch of people, and you know what I'm saying. It's just tough out here right now because
I don't think DC's going to have that problem though. I think when this is over, people are going to be thirsting to go out and go see stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know about other places.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this right now.
Yeah.
When these venues open back up, they're going to be ready. The
Right,
bands,
but it's a question of whether they can last until venues open back up. Is what I'm saying. But they still, they can't fire everybody, or I shouldn't even say fire. They didn't fire anybody. They had to lay them off. Yeah, furlough or whatever. But yeah, but then on Wednesday I got my partner Eric Pete, who was my partner with managing Tabby Benet. I'm not Tabby's manager anymore. I'm his agent now, which really means I'm just his friend because he's not even really doing any shows right now. But what's that?
Will you be my agent soon?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Let me finesse the situation and we'll get back. Hey, the main thing is I just want to have you on record so I can hold it against you.
It's going to be on YouTube forever now. So, I guess we'll see. This is the audio test. So we'll see if the audio glitched on that part when I said yes. But of course,
so, tell me who Eric P is. I want to know a little bit more about him.
He's originally from home. But he used to work for he worked at Motown, and then he worked at Universal, and then he worked at Cash Money, Young Money, Universal Republic, and now he is within the past few months he took the position as the head of digital strategy at Pivotal Projects, which Pivotal Projects is the record label that was started by TuneCore. TuneCore is the largest aggregator of independent music in the world. So basically, if you're an independent artist and you want to get your music up on Spotify or iTunes and Tidal, whatever, you can pay TuneCore a one-time fee, and then they, put all your music up and pay you out all your money that you make from that. Like that was, I put like Welcome to DC and Miracles were put out on TuneCore. Is when they
I
first.
put chain reaction on TuneCore because I ain't got it out, and people have been asking me why it's not online. I
Yeah.
actually get it.
Yeah, no, you should. You absolutely should. I mean, and it's not even just like Drake made his name on TuneCore before he was signed with Cash Money. Russ, the white rapper Russ, who's popping, did his shit on TuneCore. You know what I'm saying? But they've started their own. They got bought out by this huge multinational conglomerate. I think they're called Believe. Bought TuneCore, and then they wanted to start a label. So they actually have an official record label that is separate from that. But so he's the head of digital strategy for them. But he's from home. He's not like a go-go dude. You know what I mean? But he's been in New York for, I don't know, 15 20 years. But obviously you can't be from DC and not know what it is.
Right. And another thing is you don't got to be a go-go dude to appreciate it, have love for it, or understand that it holds there. So, I think we put these titles on it. Now, if somebody just appreciate the music, like you could not be born and raised here and still be a go-go dude. So,
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. So what's that?
Thursday, who are you having?
Thursday, I have your friend and mine, the one and only Omar Kashif, the owner of Warehouse 1360, as it is called now, and I think he said the name will change once they officially open. But he went from being being a promoter, a party promoter, to being the creator of Black Alley, and then
okay. Let me give you a small insight on Omar.
Give me a small insight. I already know it's in Florida. You said that the other day, but give me another one.
So first of all, and I know this may come off right. So I was kind of like his plug to this whole thing. So I have met Omar. Omar had just graduated high school, and he was going into his freshman year. We were both, I think I might have been already in. I think I'm 1 year older than him. We were in this program called the Mary Bears Youth Leadership Institute. And I met this guy that had a country accent, but he loved go-go. He loved music. He was going to be a marketing major. And he just started rambling about what he thought OP Tribe needed to do or whatever. So we just became, and he's one of the few people that when I met, we just liked each other. We just connected.
Yeah. Same here.
So when we started, because he had not really been around at all. He was back and forth. He lived in Florida. He lived in Georgia. His mother, who just passed away, was a professor at Bethune-Cookman. She's like a legendary professor who wrote legislation for HBCUs. And then his father was a school teacher at Dunbar and in Florida as well. So Omar just started hanging with me. He just started hanging with me. And I will never forget this. One day I took Omar to see us play at Dino's, and I had basically listeners front line. It was Scooby, Tuffy, Mike, me. It was all of us.
I remember it because I played in the band when you had the listen thing going on. Yep.
Yeah. And he just basically was like, so look, I'm not from here. So what does that person do? And then what does that person do? And then what does that person do? And I remember him asking me questions that nobody had never given me before, because he was saying, well, I just want to understand what's going on here. Because your of keeping it small and not having 14 people just standing. He was the first person, that did it. So what happened was, this story has never been told before. So, I didn't really want to play in the band anymore, or something happened. So we ended up, not being with Egg for a little while. And I tried to get him to manage. And I'm like, I know you perfect for it. You the guy, because Omar was telling me stuff I'd never heard before. Omar kept talking to me about how we should dress and how we should present ourselves. And I'm like, hey man, for a while I don't want to hear all that, brother. You know what I mean? But he was giving me real marketing stuff. And he says, I'll manage the band on one condition. You got to change the name. And I said, hey bro, I ain't changing the name. You know what I mean? And he would have been our manager. But at that time, we didn't want to throw our name away. This was 2000, you know what I mean? So, we had a good run, 95, 96, 97. And the only reason why he didn't manage, because I refused to change the name. And then somebody else went and changed the name and played as another band, and it blew up. And I said, God. Literally, I said, man.
So, I gotta push back a little bit. Did you just say that Omar was the first person to make a small band?
He was the first person to talk to me about suggesting it. This
Mm,
was back then.
I got you.
Yeah, he was the first person to explain to me how the person in Florida and other areas would look at it, because
Mhm.
he could not understand what everybody was doing.
Yep.
He just couldn't. He was like, so what is he? What does that guy do? And then what does that? He was like, and that was the first time somebody had broken down was you may not have a need for all these people.
Right.
And, but I'm thinking like, hey man, and I'm young, you know what I mean? You know, we just out of high school, but
Hmm.
he had a sharp mind. He was one of the most
Hmm.
sharpest
Yep.
people ever. Push forward. He goes to Morgan State. He joins this thing called SD Entertainment.
Hmm.
He calls me in the wintertime. I was like, yeah, I'm about to have these two shows, and I want you to just come see the people. So I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna throw, oh, my man throwing a little show. Man, we go to Baltimore. This is no exaggeration.
John was lit.
This man had like 3,000 people in this show, and I'm like, oh my god, like And then another quick assessment. We played a show. Opie tried to play the show, but he didn't want us to play. And Michelle Blackwell was singing, and Camise Lee was singing before they were in go-go bands. They
They were just singing R&B or something, or
yeah, but Opie tried backed them up. They were singing.
oh, they sang with y'all. I got you.
Yeah, and then we played like the last 15, 20 minutes. This was like maybe 98. So he was forward thinking, you know what I mean? And yeah, I guess hindsight is 2020. He was right on what he was telling me, but I was just too young to internalize it and articulate it. And I think that may be some of the issues that you may be facing with is that if you're not on that wave path or if you've never thought about it, and this is the first time you ever heard it, and somebody's giving you a bunch of information, it's hard to take in the beginning. That's why I love the fact that they'll be able to go back and look at your YouTubes. They can go to Cato and get some stuff. They can go from that. But I have a man, me and Omar are brothers. So
Yep.
we're brothers. Like, truth be told, my first stay in the hospital when I was doing my cancer treatment, stage 4, he spent the night there every night.
Right.
He stayed in the room with me. He would not leave me. He
That's,
literally slept in the room with me while I did chemo. He
wow.
stayed with me 5 straight days in the hospital. 24 hours, he just moved in. So you already know what he is to me, but I can't wait for that insight because he got some insight. Now I'm interested to see how much he's gonna talk about, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to do a gotcha interview. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to talk to people that have a vested interest in and somewhat of a different insight into the traditional way that go-go is structured and the traditional way that go-go is done. um you know I mean, I will say that um okay, so my man Chris is on here. Chris from Create DC. He's
that's
the
what Chris.
Yeah, he said love you too, first of all. But
That's
he
my
said,
man. Chris, what up?
yeah. So he said your audio is not quite as loud as mine. This is really an audio test, but we're getting into some good shit here. So
You said audio was not?
he said your audio is not quite as loud, but I mean, it doesn't sound like it's terrible, but it's just not quite as loud as mine.
Okay.
So
Well, I had it turned down. So
there
could you
you go.
ask him how is it now? Because now that I have it turned down, I mean turned up, what I mean? I would love to see what he thinks. I just turned it up. Let me know, Chris. Uh,
Let's
but
see.
the other great thing about you and Omar, I can't wait for that conversation. Is y'all both took a unconventional route and was highly successful at it. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you guys' mind, your guys' insight, and your guys willing to go against the grain should be applauded. So I can't wait to hear what that conversation is like.
Well, just to clear the air for 1 second, if you will recall, maybe you don't recall because maybe you didn't know what I was doing, but there were some band member switches between Black Alley and Marvel Sauce.
I
And
remember
Marvel Sauce,
Joe. I remember all of it.
yeah, Marvel Sauce was started as a 7-piece band. That was from the very beginning, from day one. Okay, he said it is better, so hopefully you can hear you now. So I just will reiterate that Black Alley originally was like a 12-piece band, and Mongo Sauce was always a 7-piece band. So I was the first one to start a small band.
Me.
Nah, I'm just fucking
Okay,
around.
so you know the original Black Alley I was in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the original one
Mm-hmm.
I was in. I came in like the first 6 months and joined the band and all that. I was in the Black Alley for a minute, and then I went to listen.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know you were in Black Alley before. Listen,
Oh yeah,
I think maybe the first time I even really became aware of Black Alley, and I could be misremembering slightly because I do remember seeing them a couple of times. I don't remember when, but I remember when I became sort of acutely aware of them was when I don't remember. Drew and Glenn both played. I think they were playing in both bands at one time, and then I think.
Do you know where they came from? Do you know where Drew and Glenn came from?
I don't know where Glenn came from. Drew took my place in Northeast Groovers, but I don't know where he was prior to that.
They started with me.
Gotcha.
Then, yeah. So
Gotcha.
I'm the one responsible for Mumbo's Talk.
Okay. Yeah, Glenn. I can't remember if Glenn actually wrote, and he did write songs with us, but I remember always sort of bumping heads with Glenn, not in a personal way because that's my man. Like we never had a issue, but it was like everything that he would bring was like real, like neo soul-y and real chill, and I was like, bro, that is not this band. Like that's not the purpose of this band. It's not the sound of this band at all. Like we need to, and at that point we hadn't really brought the rock thing in. I didn't really intend, the rock thing didn't even come from me. It came from Drew. You know what I mean? Because if you remember the first couple of songs, Damn Joe and Fairweather before that, neither one of them had any rock stuff in them at all. The first rock song that we recorded, I think was Go, which I did write, me and keyboard Chris wrote, but prior to that, they had done a song called Long Time Coming, which came on the album, and Drew wrote it.
But guess what, though? I know Drew because Drew was with me in high school. He's a diehard Jimi Hendrix fan.
Yep.
Through unknown story, me and Mac literally would help him with his homework in the 12th grade so he would graduate because he almost didn't graduate. We literally go over his house, over by Catholic University in the Heights, and sit there and be like, hey, bro, you're going to do your... Mac would do his homework for him because he didn't care. He stayed in the house all day listening to Jimi Hendrix. So I know the rock influence about him because he brought it to OP Tribe when he played with me.
Gotcha. I think I do remember that he played with OP Tribe. Half the band did too, because Barry was the first drummer and he played in OP Tribe too. Didn't y'all like fight each other or something, or like you chased him up a tree or something, or I don't know what happened, but. Chris Birch says, Malachi, name the original manager of Optimistic Tribe. Was there somebody before Ignatius, or was it Ignatius?
Ignatius created the name Optimistic Tribe. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Chris, do you know that I played for Optimistic Tribe in 1997? What was it, 97 or 96? When was it? E, you remember?
I don't know. You did play. Rest in peace, House, because that was definitely House.
Yep, that was House. Yep, House brought me in. I remember that. Yeah. I think it was 97, if I'm not mistaken. Right before I went back to
Montana.
Before I went back to Montana.
Hey, and I still remember when you quit. You just came to me and said, "Hey, man, I'm going back to school." And you had said it so bluntly. Yeah, I'm going back to school, but good luck. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm leaving. And you was gone.
Is that how I said? I don't even recall.
Unknown fact about this though. When you told me, I was like, respect. And remember, me and you would talk. But when you came back home and went to play with Novi's Groovers, they didn't tell me you was home and all that. I was like, damn, how could he? Man, I was pissed.
I know. Well, it had already happened when I was in Montana. Like basically, I was like, because I used to. I remember you and I used to talk. I used to talk to Rio too. You know what I'm saying? Because Rio was one of my mentors, and he, we just talked a lot because he like realized that I had sort of a different take than your average go-go musician and was, just trying to do something a little bit more. And he mentioned to me that, that they were looking for a new guitar player. And I was, because the mythology is that, wow, Northeast Growers is killing. They're making all this money, and you can go and I'm like, okay, well, I know when I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna need a job, and So I mean, to be fair, when I started playing with Northeast Growers, it definitely was the most amount of money that I've ever made playing a cover band, but it wasn't enough to live off of. I can tell you that. Go ahead. Man,
I actually filled in for Northeast Growers when Rapper had some issues with the law, child support, and all that. And I would never forget. I played with them, and I'm kind of waiting around to give my money. And when I finally got the money, I kind of looked at it like, "Gee, that's it? That's what he gets?"
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Well, the thing with Northeast Groovers was this. So it wasn't a whole lot of money, but it was a guaranteed amount every week. So it was stable. So I knew what it was going to be. Right. And there were perks that made up for the fact that it wasn't a lot of money.
Like what? Like what?
Sweaty and Omar, first of all, I never had to set my shit up. All I had to do was bring my guitar. My amplifier lived in the van. I didn't have to carry that's one of the main reasons I don't want to play anymore. I hate carrying shit around. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm like, okay, I want to be that guy that just has the clipboard or the telephone, the cell phone or whatever. I don't want to be the guy lugging his big ass amplifier around. Like, it's just not me. But these groups, I never had to do that because we had Sweaty, who's now the operations manager for Backyard, and Omar, who is, the monitor guy, and I don't know what else he does, but with Still Familiar and Team Familiar and Familiar.
My guy, both of them, my guy.
Right. So they were our roadies. So they set all that shit up. So all I had to do was just show up, plug my shit in, and tune my guitar, and I was ready to go. The second thing was that we also had Big Ed. And so if I needed guitar strings, if I needed guitar picks, if I needed my amplifier worked on repairs, if I needed my guitar worked on for repairs, I didn't have to deal with any of that shit. I just tell Big Ed. He goes to Chuck Levins, does a run, gets Dig Dug his drumsticks, gets me my guitar strings, exactly what I asked for. It's, you know what I'm saying? Plus, when we would go to we would have a meeting I think it was every week. It was either every week or every other week. And we would have it at Miss Pratt's house, at Pearl's house. And she would make the most banging spaghetti for everybody, like every week. And so I got like a free meal every week. Plus, and I think.
A free meal, huh? That's a perk.
Well, a free home cooked meal. I was at the time, you remember my friend Jawan from Annapolis. Me and him were living together. We're two, 23, 24-year-old. We fucking eating McDonald's and Wendy's and shit every night. So having a nice cooked spaghetti, dinner once a week is a big deal for somebody in that age. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was. So there were a lot of perks. You know what I'm saying? And plus, it was like I'm playing for Northeast Groovers. Like, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, they were one of my favorite bands growing up. I looked at them like, like straight from
I was still hurt though.
I know. For some reason, I don't even think when I came back that I even knew you guys were still playing, to be honest with you.
Hey, bro, I will never forget when I found out you was playing with them. And I was thinking, he's home and he didn't call me. He didn't say what's up. Like, I had no idea, but nah. Hey.
I know. This is what I remember, that when I came back, it was a whirlwind of activity, of shit, like trying to find a place to live, trying to find, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to because I was basically, you remember, that was the second time that I had gone to Montana. That was not the first time. So I went the first time for a year and I was like, fuck this. It's cold as shit, like 9 months out of the year. It's like, it's like 4 feet of snow, and there's no real like.
I've been to Montana before.
Where'd you go?
There's a big casino somewhere in Montana, right? It's a that everybody plays at. It's
Oh,
this
I don't know.
yeah, there's a casino, and Earth, Wind and Fire played there before.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, this
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it is, but I mean,
yeah,
it definitely wasn't the town that I was in.
because it's a lot of Native Americans, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Everywhere out west there are, and most of the Native Americans are the ones that owns the casinos. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing was this really did something to me. They got like a curfew up in Montana. There's a curfew for Native Americans. And when the Earth, Wind, and Fire concert happened, they waited to 8 versus 7 so they can get all the people out. And I remember sitting there, and if you didn't have an ID or some type of papers to prove that you was there or you was working, you had to leave. And I was thinking, what type of shit is this? Like, man, they were just running in, get up, let me see your paper. You know what I mean? It was like a real weird thing to me to observe the fact that they could do that in America. It actually damaged me because they were really rude. The white police officers, they were very rude, disrespectful to them, treating them like, and I'm like, what? Yeah.
Wow. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. This is the town where I was is called Bozeman. It's where Montana State University is, and it's a super liberal, super like they call it like baby LA. You know what I'm saying? Like it's and it's different now. It was a little more boring when I was there, but it's like like some of my friends out there were like these rich white kids from Alexandria who like just want to snowboard and
wow.
And so they go to Montana, and there's a bunch of hippies and shit out there, but there's not. Yeah, it's like literally when I was there, and I don't know if it's still the same way, but everybody just left their car open, and like people literally would go in the store and leave their car running with the doors unlocked, and just not even worry about it. And I could never get used to it. I'm like, I'm not leaving my car unlocked. Like you're crazy.
Nah, let me take my keys out and lock my door.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so not to get too deep into that, but I went to Montana for my freshman year in college because my father was a professor there, and it was the only really school that we could afford. And it wasn't because I went there for cheap because he was a professor, because he used to be a professor at University of Maryland. Now, had he been the janitor at University of Maryland, I could have gone to University of Maryland for free. But he was a full professor at Montana State. And the only reason we could afford it is because he could put me on his taxes the year before and make me an in-state resident. And then that way I got cheaper tuition, but it didn't have like if we didn't do that, it would have been full price. They didn't give him any kind of discount because he was a professor there.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, so I hated it. And to be honest with you, a lot because I missed go-go. There was no go-go there. You know what I'm saying? So
you missed me. Right?
Of course. I didn't miss you as much though because you were the only person that called me all that first time I was there. That called me. Like that was amazing to me. I had to call all my friends. I'm like, I'm the fucking one that moved out of state, and I gotta call y'all motherfuckers. Like you supposed to check me, check and make sure I'm doing okay.
And I ain't gonna lie, when you left, I really missed you. Like when you had left, because we had started developing a relation. You was a part of us.
Yep.
Then it was gone. It was over.
Yep.
And I really missed you when you was gone.
Likewise.
I really missed you when you was gone.
I appreciate that, man. But it was a really good time playing with you guys. But then when I came back the first time, that's when I went to Morgan for like a year or 2 years. I can't even remember. The timeline is all screwy. And I started playing with Occupation again, and then that's when I started playing with you guys. So yeah, so I started playing with you guys after I came back from Montana the first time, because the first time I went was 94, 95.
Right.
I graduated in 94. I went, or I guess 95, 96, maybe. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, and then I came back, and then that's when I started playing with you guys. And then I decided what happened was I went on a trip to Mexico with my father, my family, because he had basically the only way we could afford to take the family on a trip was a university trip. So he took a trip where he took his students from Montana State, and his friend took students from University of Maryland, and they somehow worked in some extra money so the family could go too. So we went to Mexico, and a lot of the people on this trip were
Students at
like,
Montana.
say again? Yeah, students from Montana, but also there was like one of the guys like wrote for Time magazine, and like all these like really accomplished, smart people. And meanwhile, I'm like living in Baltimore with Omar, the guy that was playing bass for Occupation, and I think still at the time, I don't remember exactly where I was, but basically, I was just like, I don't feel like I'm really moving forward with my life. And I had started feeling like that. I think that was before I started playing with you guys. So it was not like I started playing with you guys and I was like, all right, this isn't working. Let me get out of here. It was like I had already started that transition.
Yeah, but you did a great job explaining to me. When you explained to me, you told me what it was. I was like, you know what? Shit, I probably should be doing that. But I no,
Right.
because I was supposed to go to school in Georgia and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
So no, I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is I went back and I still never got my damn degree. But and then I came back and then started playing with another co-band, started playing with Northeast Groovers, and then left again and went to Vegas and then went to LA and then came back and started Mambo Sauce and blah 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 blah.
So why do you think you still love it so much after all these years?
I don't fucking know, to be honest with you.
Connection is.
I have zero idea. To be honest with you, I feel like it's like I feel like a battered wife. Like I tell my real wife that all the time. That it's like how a battered wife, like she keeps getting beat up and punched in the face by her husband, and she just keeps coming back and back. That's like me and Gogo. Like there's absolutely zero logical reason that I should still be spending this much time on Gogo, like even just doing these episodes. You know what I'm saying? Like literally from a business perspective, it doesn't really make any sense. But I still just always, I'll tell you one thing that, and I don't think this was on I don't remember if this was on the interview with Donnell or if this was just me and him talking on the phone afterwards, that I said something about, I just am passionate about this and want to see something more happen with the music. And he was like, well, and also, whoever figures it out, it's going to be $1 million idea. You know what I mean?
$1 billion idea.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. And I mean, and that's sort of where I just don't feel
that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at too.
Right.
Exactly. That's 100%. Because, and me and you've been talking, I'm doing something totally different, a whole new strategy. Mm-hmm. And I've also disconnected myself from the people that I was doing it with before. I have a whole new vision and it's still related from Gogo. So no, I understand you're trying to figure it out. You kind of got these relationships and insights. I've been there. And truth be told, I had the same thing. I actually tried not to do Gogo no more. I actually tried. I actually said, I'm not doing it. I'm going to do radio. And I just couldn't help it, bro.
Yeah, man, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's definitely dictated most of the decisions that I've made in my life. You know what I'm saying? Some of them good, some of them bad. And
life.
Say again?
Such is life, though.
Yeah. No, I'll be 100% honest. I do get scared sometimes, and I'm like, man, am I just wasting time that I could be focusing on something else that could be more, that could have a bigger impact. But I also know that, like I said, like if we're the ones to figure this shit out and finally crack the code, that's the biggest shit ever. And that's the thing that I don't
understand. We're going to crack the code, bro. We're going to crack it. We're going to crack it.
Yeah.
I don't know who all is going to be, but I just got a feeling me and you going to be in the mix of whatever code's going to be.
Yeah, no, I think if that's for sure. I mean, if it does get cracked, it will be by two of these people on this call.
Now the interesting thing is, and I ain't never told nobody this, but for about the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've had countless people tell me you should quit. You missed your opportunity. You're not good enough. I mean, literally, I've had band members. I actually had a band member, a band situation tell me, you're not good enough, but if you want to, you could come be a roadie and be our assistant manager. You'll be really good at that. I've had countless people tell me, you're not good enough, give up. And I know they may see this. Just know I got your name on file, motherfuckers. I got your name. Don't you ever think I'm going to forget? I mean, but literally, they've come to me like they were helping me. Like, Ted, just give up. And I always ask them. So if I'm not good enough, who you think is good? And then they start saying names, and I'd be like, oh nah, like But for a long time, I've had more losses in go-go's than wins. I mean, I've had countless. I mean, man, I can tell you literally when Listen left and I was stuck, and I was still with OP Trap, had to start over again. That was some of the most hurtfulest shit, brother. Woo!
I can imagine.
You see all your friends over here getting it, and you the only one over here left. Me and Matt were the only ones left. And man, so
what happened with that again? Why did that? What? I don't remember what the story was.
Well, the story was they were just a singing group.
Yeah.
And they felt like it would be better for them to do way more R&B and go-go sprinkled at the end. And it was just a situation. And then it blew up, and they was doing more. It was half and half, in the beginning. So, I mean, however it happened really quick. But boy, every day people will come to me and say, "Man, why you not with Listen?" Or "Don't you wish you was with Listen?" Or "Why you not?" I mean, every day I had to answer. It was like festering. So I'm just saying, like, I guess I'm gonna have a hell of a story. But boy, I spent some mighty days on the outside looking in, and I do think. Is God will have it in his way. I got to go with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and that's what cleared it for me.
Yeah.
Like if I did not get the job with Earth, Wind, and Fire, I'll probably be a bitter 40-year-old person hating a lot of people right now.
Right.
Because it was hurting. But
well, real quick before we go on to the next thing,
right.
Chris Birch said, "I would like to pay it forward and offer to help where I can." So we have an ally in our
We got 3 people.
Yeah, there you go. That's big shit. But speaking on the bitter thing, I think that is really kind of powerful because I feel like there's a lot of people that are bitter in the go-go industry. A lot. I can understand why it happens because obviously you and I have had 2 very, hurtful things happen to us from people that we, thought and we loved. Yeah.
But here's the thing about life. I think life in general, there are going to be some things you're going to be bitter about. There are going to be situations you look back, woulda, coulda, shoulda. If this would have happened, I would be here. I just think maybe go-go could be the thing, but life in general. But what I do know, and I've learned through these last 10, 15 years is, as long as you keep yourself circulating in the game, you got a shot. As long as you don't throw your hands up and have a defeatist attitude, you just never know what really can happen. And for me, I'm happy is the fact that I'm really getting and for me, this is a 4th comeback attempt. You know what I mean? Like literally a 4th one. So, but some people don't get it. You know what I mean? Or some people, because the one thing about go-go, which is unfortunately is you got to depend on the other people in your band. You do got to depend on 8 to 9 other people in your band.
Well, but do you? Because that's my question.
Well, from your perspective, no. But generally, how go-go bands start is it's a bunch of people that come together. We kind of figure this thing out.
I know, but I'm going to cut you off because the purpose of these conversations is not to talk about what go-go was, but to talk about what go-go could be and should be. And so my point is, if this is what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to eliminate the friction as much as possible. Like there are systemic things in go-go that prevent it from having a larger degree of success. One of them that we've already discussed, and you were just talking about again, is the fact that there are so many people involved, and it's not the same situation where it's like everybody in go-go, regardless if they're the whatever, like they're just the guy that says yeah on the microphone all night long, feels like they have exactly the same amount of say as the people that are paying for the rehearsal space and are writing the songs and are booking the shows and are doing
But guess what? And you're right. But the situation is democracies never work out. The most successful bands, and we can just do a check. Chuck Brown and then the Soul Searchers. Ray and his White Boy, then them.
Yep.
Junkyard Bugs. Backyard Big G. Those are the bands that know, and then you got a band like Northeast Groovers, where it's not necessarily one leader in there. He kind of like gotta say so.
Well, there was before Miss Pratt passed away, but
yeah, but just in general, it's just hard. That's why when we did this Raheem Devon thing, the first rule was it's not a democracy. Hey guys, this ain't gonna be no vote. If you can't take me being the leader or me and Raheem being the leader, cool. And some people left, said, well, I don't, I had people that did not want to join the band. I had a famous go-go girl singer right now who was homies, and she told me to my face, I don't think you should be the leader because I don't think you have the intelligence or the talent enough to lead me somewhere. We still cool. She shook, man, we still cool to this day and everything. But democracies and bands don't work. And normally how bands start, it's normally a democracy. So that is part of the issue because everybody don't travel the road you travel. Most people have never been nowhere. We just kind of did this shit as a hobby. Oh my God, it worked out. People like us. They got to figure a lot of this business on the fly. So it's so many dynamics to the reason why everybody's hitting my phone now.
It's all good. Well, that's what I'm saying is that how do we eliminate those points of friction? So you identified the first one already, which is not a democracy. You have a leader or two leaders or whatever. And I think, Black Alley sort of figured that out where they now it's Josh, Casey, and Danny, and everybody else is hired. I mean, well, it still remains to be seen whether that's going to work or not, but I'm just saying it seems like they've sort of come to that same conclusion. The second band that I put together, Lipstick and Congas, well, little known fact, there's a kid named Nick Hakeem. You know who he is?
You told me about him.
So he's kind of like popping a little bit, but on like the Pitchfork blog. He's like a bloggy type of like underground neo soul. I don't even want to say neo soul. He's like Brooklyn hipster,
right.
Brooklyn vegan kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's a touring artist. He puts out records. He's a full-time musician. I still talk to him. He's doing his thing. Like he's in the niche that he's in. He's popping. You know what I'm saying? He's touring nationally, internationally. He's not a small fish, you know what I'm saying? But he's not Drake either, you know what I mean? But anyway, little known fact, as soon as the thing fell apart with Mambo Sauce, I said, okay, well, I don't want to deal with that many people anymore and bringing everybody in as a, everybody having a say in what's going on. So I said, I want to find a solo artist that I can just hire a band for. So I was introduced to him by Stan Cooper. Stan the Man, because his son went to school with Nick. They were in the same grade or whatever, I think. And so I started managing Nick for a while, and I put a band behind him, which was essentially Wale's band. I always keep getting my band stolen. So it was, but maybe they were already playing Wale. I can't remember, but it was Eric.
They were playing Wale.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. It was, so I guess they were. It was 2009, so they were already playing. So it was Eric and Slump and Glenn and somebody else I forget. Damn, bro. Poppin', son.
Yeah.
And then I think we did like one show at the 930 Club, but then he did like the same thing I did to you. He was like, hey, I'm going to Berkeley. I'm going to college. So he left and went to Berkeley College of Music. And, like I said, we stayed in contact, but he just went in a whole different direction. But also, I'm not sure he really wanted to do the go-go thing. He just wanted to be an artist, and I was the one pushing him to do the go-go thing. You know what I mean? But then the next band that I put together, like in the go-go sphere, the next artist I worked with was Lipstick and Congas that I put together, if you remember.
I love it. I came to a few of y'all shows.
Say it again?
I came to a few of y'all shows.
Yeah, so there was a lot of potential there. But the way that I had that band set up was exactly what you're talking about. I owned the band. I owned the name. I was contracting with these people to write, record, and perform music as part of this group.
Situation.
for a specific amount of money, and I had it scaled to be where, okay, if it was a free, you had to, I think I said you have to agree to do like 2 free shows a quarter or something like that, because it would be for one or two things. One, it would be if there was a show that made sense for us to play from a
Right.
exposure perspective, to play for free, or if we needed some money to put into the project. You know what I'm
So
saying?
how good did that song do?
Which one?
I don't want but a week tonight. I don't. The song y'all put out.
The Lipstick and Congas one? I can't remember. I know we put out "We Won't Give Up," which is one song.
Yeah.
It did all right. Honestly, that was. I'm not a great Allison. Well, there was two hers.
No, not Allison.
What
The
you talking about?
girl, I think she was like Italian, black. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's Allison. So there were two Allisons. The first girl was the one that won the contest was Allison Blanc, but she also won the contest because Ari Lennox flaked out on the live auditions the day of the show. I think because and somebody reminded me when we were talking about it the other day that it was because of the contract. Yeah. So which is what I was describing. You know what I mean? Is that this is the way it's going to be because I'm not going through this Marvel Sauce shit again. You know what I'm saying?
So where's
So
that girl at?
she's still performing. She just got short blonde hair now, and her name, but Alison Balanc, Balanc.
I like her. I like her, bro.
But then I ended up replacing her mainly because she could sing her ass off, but her stage presence wasn't improving quickly enough. Now, I think I've seen some stuff from her recently, and she's gotten that together. But for the timeline that I needed it wasn't moving fast enough. So I ended up replacing her with Allison Carney, who was kind of like a U Street legend.
I know what she
Her
is.
presence was off the chain. She was great, but she started becoming a tiny bit flaky towards the end, and then that's when I got the job.
Allison what? Blanc?
The first one, Balanc, Balanc,
BAL.
ANC.
Got you.
You got it?
Got you. I loved her.
Yeah, no, she was good. She was good. And she was she if I remember correctly, she took things very well when I let her go, which I appreciated because it's always hard to let somebody go, and
I liked her.
Yeah, well, hit her up, man. There you go.
Because I remember y'all did Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and she banged it. I like.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, no, that's her. She looks different now because she cut all her hair off and dyed it blonde, but that's her.
Alex Tony.
Well, no, that's Allison Carney was the second one. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So she like her. She already was just on 10 from the stage presence perspective, but I just she just started like flaking out and missing rehearsals and shit like that, and I'm just like, man, I can't really deal with that. And then she ended up going to sing for En Vogue later on. I don't think she's still with me, but anyway, there was a point to me. So, it was just about how the business was structured. So because removing the friction, you know what I'm saying? So the friction of having to be a democracy is a problem. The friction of having because the flip side of that is this though. If everybody's not a member, then everybody that's not a member is a hired gun, and they want their money, and you got to have some money. You know what I'm saying? So if you are in a position where you're just starting something new, you haven't established any value yet, there's no money coming in. So unless you just have money, then which I never did. You know what I'm saying?
You don't have money?
No, I don't. I mean, until this whole thing fell apart, the whole world fell apart. I had a little bit more money than I've had in the past, but still not enough to sustain a 7-person band going on tour or something like that that's necessary. You know what I mean? However, one thing I will say is that I think that now I have a bit more of a track record than I've had in the past. And I think, and I understand a lot more about how business works and especially how the music industry works, even though it changes every day. And I feel like if I'm able to identify, there has to be more than one group. Like my concept for Mambo Sauce wasn't just that Mambo Sauce would be the only successful band coming out of Gogo. It was to try to create the blueprint. And there are some bands that took some of my blueprint and were successful with it, but nobody was as successful with it as I wanted everybody to be successful with it.
Right.
So if what I'm saying is if I'm able to find some people that want to work on some stuff, if you're able to get your thing off which you're already off the ground, you're on your way. You know what I mean? I feel like there are going to be some people who are going to be willing to put some money in to make this shit work. You know what I'm saying?
I'm coming.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I'm coming.
Heard it. I know. I've heard it. You still need to send me the rest of those songs too. You only sent me. I want all of them. But that's so okay. So identifying points of friction. So the first point of friction is too many. I'm gonna try this real quick. I want to use this and see, like, I don't know how to do this really, but I want to try to. I guess you can't really do it without doing a banner. So,
do we have any questions?
No, not yet. There's only like 2 people watching. I knew this wasn't going to be like a major one. This was just a test. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody even is on the YouTube right now. This was just to make sure the audio worked, but it's going to exist. So once it gets popping, people are going to go back and look at it. You know what I mean? So okay, so let's try this. Can you see the screen?
Yes, democracy.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the first point of friction, right? Okay. Second point of friction is money. I wish I could do it like a list. You know what I mean? But that's all right. The third point of friction would be songs.
Material.
There aren't enough songs. The fourth point of friction would be presentation.
Facts.
What else you got?
That's pretty good there. Because presentation go with visuals, presentation go with stage presence. No, you pretty much covered it.
Okay, so there's 4 major points of friction. So democracy, that can be that you have already figured that part out. I'm in charge. This is my band. So if
or what I do in my situation is you got say so, but the final say so is going to be with me. Just know I may take some of your stuff in, like with song ideas or even that, but the final vote does go through me. That's how I've been doing it over there. It's kind of like no, so I don't want to say it's my way or the highway. You may have some great insight, but just know that I can disagree, and we're going to have to move on. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so you got that part figured out. But the flip side of that is that means that the person who's in charge needs to know what they're talking about. Needs to understand how to move on a larger level than what's already been happening. Right?
Hey, let me wash machine off. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
This is great. Hey, you got food in there. I'm back.
All right. Okay. So in order to have an effective dictatorship, if you will, the person that's in charge needs to understand how the greater industry works.
Right.
So that is part of, I guess, sort of what I'm trying to create with this series is not just how does go-go work? What have we done in go-go? What's our history in go-go? But also trying to bring in some other people that understand how the greater music industry works and that can share this stuff with the potential leaders of these bands, right?
Right.
Whether the manager or the lead rapper or the whatever. Got all right. So cool. So we figured that point of friction out. Okay. So the money. Who's funding your project? How are you getting the money?
Me and Raheem is doing it.
Okay.
But it's basically me. Raheem puts in as well. So yeah, but it's basically me and Raheem.
Okay. All right. So you figured out a source of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't figured out a source of money yet, but
you're resourceful.
Yeah. No, I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
you
that's
normally do.
Say again.
You normally do.
Yeah. Okay. So next thing is songs. So you have 30 songs.
31.
31. There you go. Boom. That's a hell of a start. However, we needed like 1 million songs. You know what I'm saying? And the reality of the situation, this is where it comes into me with the does go-go need a band? Because the reality of the situation is it's time consuming, it's frustrating, it's difficult to get a full band into the studio to make a song. And so trying to create them at enough of a volume to keep up with the way music is distributed these days, which is not we're putting out an album every 2-3 years, but
right.
We're putting out a single every week. It's hard. It's really hard to do that with a band. And to be completely honest with you, my personal opinion is I haven't heard a band other than say maybe Black Alley is the closest thing in recent memory that writes songs that sound comparable to what's on the spot. I'm not even going to say on radio because that's the other thing. We're so still stuck on radio. Radio isn't even
right
anymore. Listen to the Spotify top 50. That's where it is. And so, how do you screen share?
So I think New Impressions put out stuff.
Well, funny you said that because I emailed them maybe a week and a half ago, asked them to see about TJ coming on the show. And just since we've been on, they emailed me back and said, is this still available? So I'm going to link that up and get that popping. So, okay. So New Impressions, you feel like New Impressions have put out.
They just released a song. And I got to think, first of all, they're the first band that I ever heard that mastered bounce beat studio. They really have mastered. They got this new song that they put out a few weeks ago that I think is incredible. I'm trying to find it right now.
Gotcha.
Okay, have you heard the song "Found Myself a Clapper"?
No.
Okay, that's one song called one song that you should. New Impressions make songs that literally could be on the radio, structured, mixed, everything.
Could it be on the when we say be on the radio? I want to change that. Because we always say it could be on the radio.
Yeah. I messed that up. They have songs that I know, and I'm gonna tell you when I knew that they were connected. There are people who would never probably look or listen to go-go that like New Impressions. They got a lot of those type fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they make great structured songs.
So I haven't heard the song, so I'm not making a judgment. I'm saying I can or I can't. Do you think that if you were in a club, like assuming, I'm just going to assume by the name of the song title that it's a club driven song.
Mm.
So assuming you're in a club in Miami, assuming you're in a club in LA,
Mm.
the DJ played a Drake song, a Lil Uzi Vert song, I don't know, fucking Travis Scott song, and played this New Impression song in between it. Those songs. Does it make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, I got definitely got it.
And they've been doing this for a while. They got another song called "Grab My Hips." First of all, I know for a fact.
Let me write these down.
I know for a fact that people know how good they are. I just think the right person ain't heard them,
Uh-huh.
or they just like most people. You gotta have a business guy there with you. You got a guy that you gotta have a almost like a small record that handles that. I know for a
So
fact,
almost like a small what?
um, almost like a small record label, a guy that's gonna handle all the streaming, iTunes, somebody that really their job is to focus, circulate, and get that out. Because I know it's hard creating it, playing, booking shows. It's hard doing all that. I
Uh-huh.
know for a fact that you could put T.O.B. and New Impressions in the studio and get something out that could bang. Because
Okay.
they've already done it.
I'm gonna
And
check. I want to check those songs out because I'm gonna tell you, I heard a couple of songs from New Impressions because Michelle Blackwell told me basically the same thing that you're saying. You know what I'm saying? It was probably like a year and a half ago, something like that. And I'd heard their name. And shout out to my man Malcolm that used to be in the band Click that I managed. He was always telling me about how great they were, and I've heard their name for a long time. I never really heard any of their songs until maybe like a year and a half ago, and I really liked the song. And I can't think of what it's called now, but I find myself walking around humming it all the time. However, the caveat that I have to make is that to me, it sounded like what I like because I like go-go, but it didn't sound to me like something that somebody that didn't know what go-go was would like. And in my opinion, in order to um, elevate the sound and elevate the culture and elevate the success level of go-go outside of DC, which is not what everybody wants. I get it, but it's what I want.
no,
How to
no.
make it sound
I think people do want it. They just don't say it. They want it.
right. I mean, it's possible that people said they don't want it because it's then it gives them an excuse for
Yeah.
why it hasn't happened because
Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants. That's why they so hell bent on people giving them their respect here. Like, why you not? They want it. They want it. You
right.
know. But I'm gonna tell you what I think. Why T.O.B. is good. I
Okay.
think T.O.B. masters something that everybody don't realize. T.O.B. has done a great job of taking older songs from the 80s, 70s, and bouncing them.
Okay.
80s, 90s, and that will connect with the person who may not know go-go, but they'll know the song or they'll know the rhythm. Like
Right.
program directors, and I think what Puffy and Master P were geniuses at was the fact that when they was doing that, when they was taking hits from the 80s, it connected people. It gave people a starting point. And
Yep.
that connects with people who never heard it, but also programmers who want to feel like they can understand what it is.
Yeah.
T.O.B. has mastered that. They
Okay.
mastered that. They really have. I just think what T.O.B. and what New Impressions has done is amazing. They just need somebody to come in and say, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do. This is the only conversation we need. We need to do this in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I
Yep.
need a hook, and then I need your chorus, and we got to go back to the hook, and we're going to do all
But
this in
they
3
need a
minutes
producer.
and 30
They need a,
seconds.
they need a producer, which is yeah. I mean,
Or, yeah, but the talent is there, and the fact, and they connect with young people. I don't care what nobody telling you. It's just my opinion. I know New Impression can make it, and I'm gonna tell you what else how I look at
nobody
it.
told me they couldn't. No, people, everybody, everything I've heard about them has been good.
I'm gonna tell you why I also thought this. When I was at Charlottesville doing the morning show, and I don't think people understand this. This is why you deserve a lot of credit as well. most people are not, their ears outside of the DMV, DC radio, just in general, they not tuned to roller tones. It's really 90s Congo type. That's what they know. They want the energy. You know what I mean? I think New Impressions is the first person because to this day, nobody has ushered in the next sounding generation of go-go. But the way New Impression does it, without a question, shadow of a doubt, I know they could do it.
How many people are in their band?
It's a lot of them.
Right. That's what makes it difficult because
Yeah.
unless you have a huge smash hit, nobody's paying for
But
14 people to come play it somewhere where you have no fans.
that's true. But what thing they have working in their favor is they circulate a lot of music. They have been putting out product, and a lot of it has been connected. So the great thing about them is you'll like one or two of their songs, and if you just venture, even though it may look, there will be one or two songs that you really like of them. They put out a lot of music, and it's quality. And whatever, and the other thing that they have done, they understand the studio process. They understand stacking vocals. They understand how to vocally do stuff in the studio.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'll be honest with you, that what I was going to say about the song that I heard a year and a half ago, which I really like, and I hum it, was that it did it, and I feel like I heard something that they put out recently too, that there is no stack vocals. It's just TJ, just his solid his solo vocal with nothing else going on. So I got to listen to these two songs that you told me about.
Yeah, he is. When I hear him, I felt like if I had came out today, that's what I would want to sound like. Okay. I remember when I first started, and I was singing, talking, and singing, yeah, and all that. Yeah. Like, why are you singing so much? You know what I mean?
Right.
He has a lot of rhythm and harmony and melody in his voice and what he does. And when I hear him, it's really infectious. Chris is the same. And I'm going to tell you something about Chris. Chris is a student from T.O.B. I've known Chris. First of all, I know a lot of them when they first started, when they were young. I remember.
Well, maybe you can put me in touch with Chris because I reached out to them on Instagram too. Having him come on and he didn't respond.
Unknown fact about Chris: when they were kids, their manager Tina B hired Ert to teach them how to play go-go in the house over in Coral Avenue.
I know Tina B. I remember Tina B.
Yeah. So I have known them since they were kids. One thing about Chris, he did his homework. You know what I mean? He's passionate. He does, and he know his shit. I could tell he grew up in a house that had music because for him to connect and be so passionate about flipping old songs to make them bounce, you got to have a passion. You got to know it. And you got to have an understanding. He literally for 2 years, their number one song was "Before I Let Go."
Nice.
Then the other song that put them on the map that everybody loved was the "Know Me" song. Have you heard that song? Know me, know me, know me.
Oh yeah, I've heard it.
And hey, let me tell you something. That was a smash. That
But hold on, real quick, because I want to let's define what a smash is. And I don't and let me be clear. I'm not saying this to shit on anybody because I love DC. I love go-go. I love DC. I love the culture. I love everything about it. But I want to see it be bigger. To me, a smash is you used to call me on my cell phone. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you why it's a smash. That's when the song was a smash. Do you know who Quinn Cook is? The basketball player for the Lakers? Quinn Cook.
No.
There's a basketball player for the Lakers, but he played with Golden State. He went to Duke. So he went to Duke, and it was March Madness. It was the introduction. This man, Duke's theme song for that year, because they had so many DC people, was Know Me. So I'm looking at ESPN, and Know Me is playing, and they're doing the dance like this, the Know Me joint, like Know Me. Like that's when I said, oh my God, like this song is circulating, it's resonating with people. And when that song first came out, They played it every night, but everybody knew it. People who may not even, people who did not like Bounce Beat or didn't want to give it a chance would say, damn, that shit is a real hit. Kind of like what Reaction Gucci Bandana was. Like if you ain't like it, you had to say, damn, that shit is cranking. Yep. That's what Know Me. Know Me for the whole summer had had the DMV on Smash.
Right, but the only reason I'm pushing back on this is not because I'm hating on them or anything like that, but what I'm talking about, and let me put it in context so nobody gets offended, is to me, Welcome to DC isn't a smash because and it did more than that, but because I'm talking about what the definition of a smash is. To me, the definition of a smash has to be more than just the DMV and like maybe Richmond and a little bit of Carolina. To me, it's
a hard sell, bro. You was a hard sell.
Well, that's the whole point of this, though. Like that's the whole point of what I'm trying to get at. Like Mambo Sauce, like that. The shit that pissed me off the most was I'm like, you motherfuckers are acting like you made it already, like you Jay-Z already. I'm trying to go on a cross country trip. Welcome to DC was great, but in my opinion, we didn't even. I'm trying to go on a cross country trip. We didn't even pull out a parking spot yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about I want Go-Go to be as big as Drake, to be as big as Beyonce. Yeah. My goal is for a Go-Go band to headline Coachella by 2025. That is my goal. And when I say a Go-Go, I don't even necessarily mean a Go-Go band. I mean a Go-Go artist. Artists performing Go-Go music as their primary genre of music. That's what I'm talking about. So every single thing that I'm talking about is based on that barometer of success. You know what I mean? So that's why when I say, do these songs that we're talking about, do they rise to that level of not even success, but just does it sound like something that could be played in the mix of songs that are at that level of success? I think if we don't set our standard of excellence at that level, then we're just going to continue to be the local shit that we are now. If we don't
agree.
Yeah.
My answer is yes. So my answer for that is yes.
So you would say that the two songs that you told me about from New Impression and the Know Me song from T.O.B. could be played in a club in Miami or in L.A. and have the same effect as a Drake or a Lil Uzi Vert song. Now, granted, understanding that people would already know a Drake and know a Lil Uzi Vert.
You're a tough sale.
No, I'm saying that's the bar, though. That's what I'm saying. Do you think that?
Let me ask this question then. All right, let me ask you this question. Do you think Welcome to DC's Hype, do you think that song could have did that in Miami, or do you think you could have?
No.
Well, I disagree with that too, then.
Yeah, no, I don't. Not, I mean,
you really are.
No, I think that it was, to me, and I'm only saying this because I don't want anybody to think that I'm like, like harping on my own shit, like, oh, my shit was great. Like, it was great to be, and I'm not saying it wasn't, but what I'm saying is that Welcome to DC was, I'm trying to get to 100%. Welcome to DC was 15%. I wasn't done. I wasn't finished. You know what I'm saying?
But
and so, what's that?
But you had a heck of a start.
No, I did. Yeah, we did. I mean, I don't want to keep saying we did, but yes, absolutely. But my point is, until we until we start talking in terms of does our music sonically sound as good as what's on the Spotify top 50, then we're destined to be local superstars for the rest of our lives, is what I'm saying. So I'm trying to change that conversation.
Let me ask you
that conversation.
I got you.
Go ahead.
So the song Bait, do you think that song was good enough to stand up in the Miami club?
What song?
Bait from Wale.
It did. So I would say yes.
I'm asking, do you think that though?
I think so.
What about clappers? Clappers to the front.
Yes, because yes, and those were samples, but they were recorded in a way. Again, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
The vocals were done in a real way. It was, you know what I'm saying? They were produced just like a regular song would be produced. So I'm not saying that the go-go sound itself is not worthy. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that we need producers and we need songwriters that know what they're doing. And everybody that's even close is still making it sound local.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I
but
think you're impressive.
real quick though, Chris says no me true. I think he meant to say no me too. He said reaction Gucci bandana true, but not one document of sales or downloads. It was all free shares. I
Yeah,
don't know if that's
I
true or
mean,
not.
like most people, they just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
But for a record that hit the streets and was a smash all over for everybody, No Me was a smash. Tob hit Tob hit the mark on them. They really did. Like that was the first time I heard a Bounce Me song and said, "There's no way you could dislike that song." That was the first time I said, "If you don't even know them, you're gonna be like, damn." And they had the pulse of the people with that song. The
right.
streets.
But again, like I'm not shitting on them. I sort of remember the song, but not really. But I so I'm not saying that it's not good. Like that's not
It
what I'm
was,
saying at all. But what
it
I'm
was
saying
a
is
theme
our
song for
definition.
Duke.
Say it again.
It was a theme song for Duke basketball. Like,
Welcome to DC was a theme song. It still is a theme song for every sports team in DC. But I'm still saying that it doesn't reach the level of what I'm talking about.
well, you are a tough sale.
Well, that's the point. That's the whole point of what I'm talking about. Is if we're going to continue to measure our success on local success or regional success, then we're going to continue to only be
I
regional and local
agree.
successes.
But you asked me to assess the song, and
Yep.
I said, yeah. So I guess, but the great thing that we're great at is that we can take each other's opinion and it don't bother us. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
I don't know if everybody can do that. I can take your assessment and I know where it's coming from.
Right.
And I know you're not the easiest person to impress. You know, you're not. But what I will say is you're still only one opinion. And if people are connected with it, sometimes it don't matter. What that Know Me
Well, I
song,
get that, E, but
no. But
I'm not saying
let me
nobody's
stop.
connecting with it. I'm saying that people in California and Ohio and Canada and England aren't
Agree.
connecting with it. That's what
Okay,
I'm saying.
agree. So how you think TCB got to play in California then?
I know exactly how TCB got to play in California because I was there.
Tell me.
They got to play there because they are the favorite band of the son of Deborah Lee, who runs BET, and he brought them out here to play at his birthday party for free. That's how they got to play out here.
Yeah, mute that part.
It's true. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there.
No, I know.
I don't. Well, let me rephrase. Not for free. I'm sure they got paid to do it,
Mhm.
and I'm not knocking them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like they did a fucking killing ass job. They were cranking like shit. I loved it. I'm not saying that to knock them. I'm
Right.
just saying
No,
that again, the there's different levels of like just because you play out of town. Like I'm going to tell you, 99% of the people that were there were from DC. It's not like LA people came to that show. Like I'm not saying there weren't any. I'm
mm,
sure there were some, but I saw a lot of people that Wale was there, Alizé was there, Colin from DC to LA was there. My girl Angela from that runs the DMV to LA Facebook page was there. There was and I can tell that a lot of people were there because Alizé was playing go-go shit all night long and they were singing all the words. And when TCB was playing, they were all dancing like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that if that is our barometer of that has continued to be our barometer of success for a very long time. And if that is our barometer of success, I'm not saying it's not a level of success. I'm just saying it's, in my opinion, it's a level 2 of success. And I'm trying to get to a level 100. It doesn't mean
agree.
level 2
Agree.
is not good. It's
I got
just that if we stop at level 2 and say, oh, we made it, then we'll never get to level 100. That's all I'm saying.
I got you. I got you 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, so it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, man.
For everybody that's been listening, I have been fascinated with the Atlanta Child's Murder series.
I saw you posted that.
Yeah, it's like fascinating. So the other one is coming on the own channel, and I'm fascinated because it's two different perspectives, and I'm really fascinated about it. Are you? up to speed. Are you familiar with the case?
No, I haven't watched it at all.
Do you know the story?
No, I have zero knowledge.
Okay, so just a quick barometer because I'm a media guy. So there were these child murders that was going on in 1980 and 81.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say the government did it. Some people say this one guy named Wayne Williams did it. It was almost 28 people. Now, after all these years, they realizing he didn't do it. CNN did a documentary. They said he did it. Discovery did one. They like, And then Rock Nation and HBO just put out one. They said he didn't do it, and they showed you how you didn't do it. And it's like this real ongoing thing. But I have been fascinated with this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I just encourage everybody to look at it. It's an amazing story. And Dick Gregory always said he didn't do it. Dick Gregory actually gave a whole paper trail. Said that the CDC is in Atlanta. They were doing experiments on poor black kids. This was what it was about. It was really fascinating. So I'm just telling everybody to go check it out. I love these conversations. Keep doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing the test, which turned into a real conversation. So I appreciate it. But yeah, man, again, I just want to reiterate because I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way. I'm not saying anything bad about any of those bands or any. I love that shit. I'm just saying that my goal is to see us in the same conversation with Drake and Rihanna and Cardi B and all of that. And none of us are in that conversation right now.
Great.
And if we continue to act like having some local and regional success is the top that we can do, then we will never get any further. You know what I'm saying? As long as we continue to believe that, then that's what's going to happen. And until we start believing that we can be in those conversations, nothing's going to change. I love you, man. Thank you.
Love you too, man.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Later.